Guess what? It's 10 minutes with Barb and Ron. And boy, do we have a topic.
Hey, Ron, Barb Gentili Green. There for a minute, I forgot who was going to start. So I tell you, folks, we just go with it. We're just, down to earth going with it. So here we are. So, Ron, as you're setting the timer so that we're not going for 10 minutes.
I was setting it.
I figured that's what you were doing. Yep. What are we talking about today?
Let's talk about something that I've been hearing in the field. People are coming from all different directions, and people are really talking a lot about MTSS in Ohio. And I know that our state is really working hard on MTSS. And of course, we're really working hard on Universal Design for Learning. So, with both of them going, I thought maybe we could just kind of talk about what we're hearing. Probably not take any sides on either or, but just get some ideas out there of what people are saying, and maybe stretch some people's minds, because MTSS and UDL are wonderful, wonderful frameworks.
So I'm always remembering that UDL checkpoint about clarifying vocabulary. And so for some folks, this acronym MTSS might not be recalled right away. So when you say MTSS, you're talking about multi-tiered systems of support. Is that right?
That is exactly right. And when I'm talking about UDL, I'm talking about Universal Design for Learning.
All right.
So those are good. Thanks. That's a good thing to say.
Yeah, because I think some states are maybe not as much into MTSS yet as Ohio is. So clarifying that language. All right. So what are some of the things you're hearing out there in the field, Ron, on MTSS?
Okay. So, I am such an opponent against labels, and I know I got that from you, and you're the strongest opponent against labels. So, I'll be saying some things that I normally probably wouldn't quite say, but for understanding's sake, I'm just going to throw them out there. But students with disabilities receive services at all levels depending on need. Would you agree with that?
Sir, students with disabilities receive services at all
levels depending on need.
Depending on need. Okay, so when you're saying levels, you're saying they could be in tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, and they could get services in any tier of support. That's what you're saying? I think that's a belief that I'm hearing.
Do you hear those kind of things? And then I think to take this a step further is that student might only be in tier 3 for a couple, just for moments, and then go back to 1, or maybe in 2 and go back to 1. Also, any student could go from 3 or 2 to 1 or up or down, but no student should probably stay in any of the 2 or 3 for very long.
Right. Okay. So let me break that down.
That's a big one there, isn't it?
That's a big one. So let me break this down a little bit, just again to clarify background knowledge. So tier 1 is really all students. It's the first teach. It's what we do the first time out of the gate when we're trying to teach something.
The best instruction for the curriculum.
Okay. All right. So tier 2 might be for small groups of students who need a little extra help learning or mastering that thing that was just taught in tier 1, right?
Yes.
And then tier 3 is going to be a little more intensive, and it might even be a smaller group or one-on-one. But the other key thing is that tier 2 supports and tier 3 supports are in addition to tier 1, right? So just because I need tier 2 support, I still get tier 1, right? I still get that, right?
Always get tier 1. Always. Okay. Nobody is excluded ever from tier 1.
Okay.
2 is an addition. 3 is an addition.
So what I hear you saying is that there's a lot of flexibility within an MTSS system that students can move through those tiers depending on what the data is saying, right? It's really driven by how well we keep track of how students are learning, where they might be struggling, where they might need a little extra support. And then, like you said, when they get it, they can move back down into tier 1. And then maybe there's another concept that comes up in another couple months and wow, I'm really struggling with that. This happened to me in physics all the time. I actually lived in tier 3 most of the time with physics. Ron, just pure exposure here. But so what you're saying is that it's kind of dependent on what they're learning and whether they need a little extra support. And so they're not stuck anywhere. It's based on how well they're picking up and learning by the strategies that the teacher is using.
So it's very fluid. In other words, it's fluid. It's kind of fluid up and down through the tiers. And I really don't know that we would need to label any students in this MTSS system, because all students should be fluidly going up through the tiers and back, any student, for example, if I'll make up a student, her name's Ella, and maybe she's hitting a hard place with math, like you said, with science, she might have to go up to 2 for a little bit, or maybe even increase to 3. And then once she's there, jump back, she's still going anyway with the tier 1 and all that instruction. She gets what she needs and she's back in tier 1. Maybe she never has to go back into tier 2 or 3, but that's okay if she does, because that's what it's there for. It's for all students. So let me ask you this. I'm also hearing a different sides of, okay, but we're not going to give those tier 2 students universal design for learning. We're not going to use the framework of UDL in tier 2. That, what do you think about that? We're just not going to do it, or are we going to do it? This is what things I'm hearing. It's not things that I'm proposing. It's
right. Well, I hear that also.
Okay.
And I think that one of our biggest questions that we have to ask and answer is when somebody says that, like UDL isn't used in tier 2 or 3, what is their perception of UDL? Like when they say UDL, what do they mean by it? Because just from a personal perspective, I can't unsee UDL, so I see it everywhere. I see it in all tiers of instruction. I see how it can be applied no matter what for any child. And so that would be my question is like, what does that mean? UDL can't be used or isn't applied for tier 2 and tier 3 supports. Like, help me understand. So, and you know what, Ron, I have to tell our listeners, like, honestly, Ron, we had talked about this topic, but I forgot it. But when I wore my shirt today, I didn't even realize how perfectly it was going to fit. And I know they can't see it, but I'm going to just stand up a little bit. Can you read it out loud, Ron?
Yes. See the able, not the label.
Yeah. So isn't that perfect to what you just said about like, there are no labels. It's just, let's see what kids can do and where they might need a little extra support. And let's just provide it. Like you said, MTSS is for everybody.
And universal design for learning is for everybody.
That's right. That's right.
So, I think these are topics that people need to think about, talk about, and kind of, think about it in their minds. If we're really going to be equitable, how does that look? So, boy, we've got less than 2 minutes left, Barb. Is there a question you might have left for this last minute or two?
Well, the other thing that I always think about with MTSS and even with UDL, like what are the tools in our toolkit as educators? When a student needs a little extra support, whether we're proactively designing for that through UDL or whether we are responding to data and giving them a little extra help, do we have enough resources to do that? Do we know exactly what they need so that we can match that intervention to exactly what they need? Because if I need to learn more how to, let me just say, learn my phonics rules, it doesn't help me to practice summarizing a paragraph because right now I need to work on my decoding skills. And so it's that match. And so I always have this question, do educators feel like they have the tools they need to meet all students' needs? So with that, Barb is out.
Well, my head's starting to hurt a little thinking about all these things, but hopefully everybody else starts to think about them too. And I think we're very fortunate in Ohio. People are really discussing both MTSS and Universal Design for Learning. We're definitely headed in the right direction. And just join us. Make comments down below in this YouTube channel, or if you're pulling this off the OCALI site, just think about it a lot. Thanks a lot, and Ron's out too. YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.